Sergeant Hannah start their recordings?
Is the recording commenced?
Recording is good.
Backup is good.
And Sergeant Hope, you may begin with your opening. Thank you.
Good.
Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to today's.
4 minutes, sir. Let me just do my opening. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Committee on Transportation. Would all council members and council staff please turn their video on at this time? To minimize disruption, please place all electronic devices to vibrate or silent. Chair Rodriguez, you may begin.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and welcome to today's remote hearing of the City Council Committee on Transportation. Annie Danis Rodriguez, they chair this committee. We have been joined by a number of colleagues. I will let the sergeants who then call the name. Today we will be voting on proposed intro number 1865-A, a bill that I have sponsored in relation to the creation of a Libre and Black Car Task Force. The task force created under this bill will be charged with studying the numerous challenges this particular sector is currently experiencing. The Libre and traditional black car industries are in a crisis, and the task force will play a major role in identifying suggestions and ideas to rescue them. In 2014, we have an average of 50,000 Libre vehicle operating in the city. For the surprise of all of us here in the whole city of New York, that number went down to 10,000. That's what we have today. A drop of 40,000 Libre vehicle lost. Some people will say, but didn't they go to Uber and Lyft? Well, some of them did, but many of them, they lost their job because many of those bases, such as the one that we have in Uptown, the Bronx, Brooklyn, Staten Island, they were competing against the Uber and Lyft, big advertising, and they lost those drivers, and those drivers never went back to them. These for-hire vehicles have serviced our community for decades. I used to be one of them. I used to be 112 at Bailey Car Service and Caddy Car Service in Manhattan in the Bronx. And we were vital. So we were providing vital services for many essential workers also during the 8 months, during the height of the pandemic. It is no secret that for the last 10 years, Libre and Black Car bases has been losing thousands of drivers, and many Libre bases have been forced to shut it down. We need solutions that will help this industry to survive. Unfortunately, even at the time when the MTA closed the midnight service, it was not the Libre who were invited to be part of providing alternative transportation. It was Uber and it was Lyft. So they are competing in disadvantage. The task force will also study the potential impact of advertising and the viability of advertising as an additional revenue source for drivers in the Libre and Black Car and other for-hire vehicle industry. No later than 250 days after this bill becomes law, the task force should issue a report with their findings and recommendations, and the TLC chair should publish such report online. This task force will be similar in scope to the task force the council created and that recently studied the medallion and the yellow industry. Unfortunately, we also need to learn from that experience. That task force puts a lot of recommendations. None of them has been implemented. I urge my colleagues to vote yes on this piece of legislation. Quiero pedirle que todos mis colegas voten una legislación que estamos votando hoy, que es para crear un task force de la industria de taxi libre y de los black car. Lo estamos haciendo porque ese sector ha estado en crisis. Años atrás habían 50,000 taxistas libres. Hoy nada más hay 10,000. Muchos han perdido los trabajos y docenas de bases han tenido que cerrar. Tenemos toda la responsabilidad de ayudar a la base libre, a los choferes libres y a los choferes de los black cars. Aún en este momento de la epidemia, cuando la MTA está usando transportación para sustituir al servicio de los trenes en la madrugada, es a Uber y a Lyft que le han dado la mayoría de esos contratos. Yo le pido a que mi colega me acompañe votando en este proyecto de hoy, que es muy importante para salvar la industria libre y de los taxis black car. I urge my colleague again to vote yes on this piece of legislation and ask the committee clerk to call a vote.
Good afternoon. William Martin, Committee Clerk, roll call vote, Committee on Transportation. Introduction 1865A. Chair Rodriguez.
Aye.
Cabrera.
Aye.
Cohen.
Permission to explain my vote?
Permission granted.
Thank you, Chair. It is good to see everybody. I am definitely going to vote aye on this important piece of legislation and taking a look at this industry. I have voiced concern in the past about sort of this piecemeal approach, and I really do feel that this is an industry in need of a really more comprehensive sort of global examination as to what we could do. Every component of this industry seems to have real struggles and faces incredible challenges, but I do appreciate the chair's nonstop advocacy, particularly for the drivers, and so with that I'm going to vote aye. Thank you.
Deutsch.
Aye.
Koo.
Aye.
Levin.
I vote aye.
Levine.
I vote aye as well.
Menchaca.
I vote aye.
Miller.
Affirmative.
Reynoso.
Permission to explain my vote?
Permission granted.
I want to thank the chair for the work that he's been doing to really try to get a grasp on what's happening in our taxi industry. But I also, like Councilmember Cohen, un segundo, papi, by Councilmember Cohen, believe that we should be doing something more comprehensive. And the fact that we haven't at this point is really concerning to me. I do think that this is going to be a small step into getting to the bigger picture. And in order to encourage that conversation to happen, I'm going to vote no on this legislation until we have a conversation about a comprehensive and complete revamping and reimagining of TLC. So I vote no.
Councilmember Richards. Councilmember Richards, I believe you are muted. I'll come back. Councilmember Rose.
Aye.
Holden.
I vote aye.
Councilmember Richards. Okay, Councilmember Richards is present. The vote for Committee on Transportation, Introduction 1865A is 11 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, and no abstentions. Mr. Chair.
Thank everyone, and especially the staff who worked on this bill and all the colleagues. And with that, this hearing is adjourned.